everyone? Welcome to the Heart Room. I'm Travis Bruce. So today I got a past guest, special guest. I have my man D. Ryan Mowry with us today, filmmaker, indie filmmaker, and right now he has a brand new horror themed hot sauce out. It is called Horrifying Hot Sauce. Ryan, thank you for
Hey,
coming
man.
back to the Horror Room, man.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about the Horrifying Hot Sauce.
Cool. Yeah. So I've been fermenting things for a long time. I started home brewing back in 2008. And then that grew into just a love of like the science of fermenting and like the flavors and all that sort of stuff. So me and a friend, we were working on actually opening a brew pub back in San Antonio when I lived there. And we got, pretty far. Not like we didn't have a lease or anything, but we got pretty far. And then unfortunately, his life got really difficult. So we stopped doing that. And then I was like, well, what can I do with this fermenting that I love? And I discovered fermented hot sauce. And I've always loved spicy food. I grew peppers for years. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for years. So like New Mexican cuisine is one of my favorites, and like the hottest green chili you've got is what I want. So like I've always had this love for it. And then when I discovered, oh, here's another way I can do this cool kind of science of taking one thing and making it into another thing, which is fermentation, and playing with flavors and stuff like that. I started playing around with them, and I after a few iterations started to come up with some sauces that I thought were really good. So I started sending them to other people, and they're like, no, these are actually really good. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me, right? And they're like, no, they really are. And I was like, okay, cool. And being is like, I've kind of grown up in this. I think I told you my other interview with you, this kind of corporate world. One of the things that we do there is iteration. You make small changes and try it again, small changes, try it again until you get it to where you like it. So I've come up with these sauces now. The 5 that I have, they're my main sauces, 3 of which you're going to try tonight. I did recipe after recipe after recipe until I tweaked it till I found it exactly what I wanted. You know what I mean? So I've been playing with them for a long time because I like that, fermentation. I like heat, but I also, I really like bold flavors. So like if we were doing an interview about beer, people are always like, what's your favorite kind of beer? And it's like, I don't have a favorite kind, but what I like is stuff with really big flavors. So like big stouts, big IPAs, big, like hit you in the face flavors, right? So when I'm making hot sauce, a lot of the hot sauces that I tried, you've got the ones in the store, which are cool. Some of them are really good. Some of them are okay. Some of them are, vinegar with a little bit of Tabasco sauce in it. It's like ridiculous. Yeah. And then I tried a bunch of sauces that people were making from some different Facebook groups that I was in. And some of them were really good as well, but like really good compared to the stuff I had in the stores. And I was like, wow, I can do this. And then I, also got an iPad for Christmas in 2020 and started learning how to do digital painting. My whole life I've been an artist, or at least I wanted to be an artist. I've never actually gotten paid for it, so I guess I'm not. But I've done a bunch of different, artistic ventures since I was a little kid. And I got, this iPad for Christmas, and I started playing around on that. And started doing these different paintings. I did a series on gialli. I think we talked about the giallo films last time we were on here. So I did a whole series, I think 10 or 12 of them, of different images from different gialli that I love, and splattered them with yellow paint instead of red blood because, it's giallo is yellow. So, and then I thought, wow, I can take this love of fermentation and these sauces that I've made that people are telling me they really like. And then I can add to that my art that I've been doing, which I don't have an outlet for, but I really love doing. And I can put those together and make these sauces. So that's where the idea for Horrifying Hot Sauce came up.
And artwork is absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to show a couple.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
I mean,
yes, that's Pazuzu. That's actually one of my first ones that I did. I knew early on I wanted to make a purple hot sauce. So I on Facebook, I've got all these friends that, are into the same type of movies, and I'll post about movies and we have these conversations with 35 comments, whatever, about him. So I was like, hey, tell me, friends, when you think of horror and you think of purple, what movie? And almost everyone was like, Exorcist, 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 Exorcist. I was like, okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do that for the purple hot sauce. So how am I going to work that? And one of the things I do with a lot of my art is it's kind of a combination of digital collage and then painting on top of that, but I like to play with the colors a lot. So I'll either mess with the saturation where things are way blown out color wise, or I'll just completely change it, which in the Pazuzu sauce that you were holding up there, I mean, you can see the face of Pazuzu is bright purple instead of the gray that it is in the movie, you know. And then that's actually the Pazuzu statue in blue in the background there. So,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So I started playing around with that, and I'm like, okay, so now I've got these two things I can do together. And then when we talked last time, I mentioned that I had been working in corporate for a bunch of years, and that job went away, and you know, now I have time on my hands. So my original dream was Horrifying Hot Sauce and Horrifying Brewing Company, the brewery, and trying to do those two things together. Because I've got, you know, like I said, I was trying to start a brewery before I was doing the hot sauce stuff. I've got these not sauces, these beers that I've done the same thing iteration after iteration to get them to exactly what I want. And I've got art for them too. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a loan for enough money to open a brewery. Like the Small Business Association would give me some money, but they wouldn't give me enough money to do what I wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go on my own then, and I'm going to do hot sauce. So I found a commercial kitchen here that rents out space. So I don't have my own place. I just have a room in this kitchen that is filled with a bunch of guys that work on food trucks. It's a commissary, if anyone out there is familiar with the term, you know, not the military commissary, which is what I thought of when I heard the term.
Yeah.
But it's basically a place where food trucks and other pop-up type restaurants come to prepare their food, because you have to legally do that in a kitchen. So I also use the kitchen, and then I have a whole room that's like kind of my own, that's blocked off from everybody else, that I keep all my peppers and all my, you know, everything in. So I moved in there the second week in October, and I launched on Halloween. So
yeah, because you reached out to me, it was in October. You was like, hey, I'm starting a hot sauce company. I was like,
right.
Oh shit, I fucking love hot sauce, man.
Well, that's awesome.
I love hot sauce. Now, hot sauce doesn't always like me, but
I get it.
I fucking like hot sauce.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you said hot sauce, I was like, yes, send it over. Let's do it. All right, so let's talk about the first one. So you actually rank your hot sauce levels from PG, like a movie, from PG all the way to NC-17.
I do, right. And actually, I just made today my first test batch of a G-rated sauce, which has 0 heat in it. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I don't want to try that one, but there's somebody out there that.
Well, see, the thing is, my wife doesn't do any heat. She is like a 0. Like if you go to the Thai place and they're like 1 to 10, she's like -4. You know, like she's one of those people that just. And my son is the same way. They just do not like capsaicin at all. Like it just does not work for them. And I know people like that, and I know lots of people who were like, you know, I asked them, hey, do you like hot sauce? They're like, yeah, I do, but my girlfriend doesn't, you know, or my boyfriend doesn't, or whatever. So I want to make something for them too that's doing the same fermentation, so you can get
nice flavors.
Mm-hmm. So like the sauce I made today, we'll see if it works, was pomegranate, dragon fruit, strawberry, red bell pepper, and garlic. And then that's fermenting for the next 2 weeks. And then when it's done, I'll blend it up with a little bit of fresh of most of those things, plus some black garlic. And we'll see how it turns out.
So what color would that one be? It's
going to be probably a bright pink, honestly, because, I mean, if you've ever worked with fresh pomegranate, it looks like a crime scene. You pop that thing open and it's like blood sprays everywhere. And then prickly pear, red prickly pears are almost the same thing, except they're fuchsia instead of red. So it should be a bright red, I would expect.
So do you have a name in mind for that one?
Not yet, but my idea for the G-rated sauces is I'm probably going to refer back to like children's horror. Like I was thinking like Button Eyes, like for Coraline, you know, things like that. Maybe the Monster Squad, like Wolfman's Got Nards, obviously is the first one that comes to mind. I don't know exactly yet. I have to make the sauce that I like first, and then I figure out the name usually. And that was the same with Pazuzu. I figured out a purple sauce that I liked. And then I was like, okay, guys, help me figure out what's my reference on this sauce. So
that's awesome. All right. So, guys, we're about to get started. So I'm going to just let you know what I have. I do have 3 bottles of hot sauce. So, and I also have some Wegmans chips.
Perfect.
That I'm gonna be rocking.
That's my favorite to try them on.
Yeah. And then, worst
people always ask, like, what do you eat them with? And I'm like, everything, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't like to necessarily recommend a a thing to eat them with, because I would like people to try them just on their own with just that salt and tortilla chip like base, and then add some cheese if you got it, which I think is what you're about to say before I cut you off.
Oh, I got some milk.
Oh, milk. Again, you know, you've only got up to the rated R. You don't have the NC-17, so it's Pazuzu's hot, and it will build. But I don't think it's going to be like,
that'd be crazy.
I don't think we're going to have a Hot Ones moment or anything like that.
Okay.
So there's no the dab, I promise, or the bomb, I mean, or last dab, either or.
All right, so we crack open my bag of chips.
All right.
That's kind of wild. All right. So first, let's tell us a little bit about Momo.
Okay, so Momo. So first off, what I want to say is, with all these sauces, they're all natural. There's no stabilizers. There's no preservatives. All the colors are all natural. But what that does mean is you need to give them a good shake before you use them every time. Okay. These things will separate over time. Some of the sauces are worse about it than others. My buffet for shitar sauce, which is one of the ones you don't have, literally a day, and it looks like it's got oil on top. It's not oil, it's vinegar, but it's just the way it looks. You shake it up and it's great. So Momo is, there's a pepper called the Manzano pepper that comes from South America. It's naturally started in the mountains of Peru in the Andes, and it's since gone all the way up through Mexico, and I would get it in San Antonio, where I used to live. And it's the weirdest pepper. It's about, big ones would be the size of your fist. Small ones a little bit less than that, and they're shaped like an apple. That's why they're called manzano. If you speak Spanish, that's the word for apple. I'm probably not saying it right. I don't roll things, but right. That's the way it's said. And then the cool thing about it is, when you cut it open, it's the only family of peppers that has black seeds. So normally you cut open the pepper, it has black seeds. You're like, oh, this pepper's a little overripe. Like, this isn't great. If they're not black, then it's not ripe. That's the way these seeds are. It grows in colder weather, and the weird thing about it is most peppers, all peppers, have capsaicin. You know, this chemical that we perceive as heat. All peppers also have this chemical called dihydrocapsaicin, which is capsaicin plus a couple molecules. I'm not smart enough to explain the difference, but it's a similar chemical, right? And in most peppers, it's a small amount. In Manzano peppers, it's like 80%. So. Wow. It hits some people differently. For most people, this is a mild sauce, but for, I would say, maybe 10 to 20% of the population, they're like, no, what are you talking about? That's pretty hot. So we'll see what happens. Manzano is, for most people, about the same heat as like a cayenne pepper, but it tastes like papaya and mango. It's the most tropical, fruity pepper you'll ever eat, and then it's hot. So literally all that's in this is Manzano and mango. So Manzano starts with an M, ends with an O. Mango starts with an M, ends with an O. You have Momo. And then, of course, you know, for those of you guys who remember a few years back on the internet, Momo was this scary thing that was going to come kill you through your email. So
yes.
So I just did a painting of the sculpture that was the influence of that. So this one is the only one that's not specifically a horror movie. It's just kind of horrific. So
yes.
So anyway, let's
give it a try. All righty. Alrighty. Got chip. Do some Momo.
This one I kind of call my flagship sauce. I don't think there's anybody else making a sauce that tastes like this, because I don't think Manzano tastes like any other pepper.
Wow, that's good.
Thank you.
I can taste the mango in it. You're right. The heat hits you, but it's a subtle heat.
Right. It's not subtle. Overwhelming at all. A lot of people tell me they like this on fish. I don't eat fish, but for people who do, this is the one that they're like, this is the one I put on my fish. I had one friend who literally just marinated a whole piece of salmon in it, like just covered it and let it sit for like 8 hours in his fridge, and then cooked it and said it was, you know, great. So I like it on a lot of things. I do it on nachos. I do all of them on nachos, like just a little this and some cheese on top. Yeah. I'll do a plate with 3 different sauces on it. Cheese, you know, and I'm like, Momo, Pazuzu, burning, Pazuzu. Yeah. So
I can see putting this definitely on some fish. I can even see put some this on some. I'm from the South, but put some on some pork rinds.
Yeah, pork is another one that people really like.
Amazing.
Yep.
Be amazing.
And it's not overwhelming in its flavor, and it's not overwhelming in its heat, except for those few people who get dihydrocapsaicin differently. And like I said, they will take that same bite you did, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's okay." And then they'll be like, "Wait, no, it's getting hotter. What's going on?"
The heat was instantly. It was
Yeah.
instant heat,
Mhm.
and then it fades away.
Yep.
Which
And
is
that's what I want for that one. That's why that one only has one pepper, and we'll talk about that with the other sauces. But that's kind of what I wanted with that, is just that little punch, and then it goes.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sip real quick.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna shoot over to, this is PG-13.
Mhm.
This is The Burning.
The Burning. Yep.
I love this.
So yeah, The Burning is one of my favorite slasher movies. It's just, there's so much to love about it. Unfortunately, it does have Harvey Weinstein's touch on it, so it's been a little tainted these last few years. But there's so many good things about that movie. And I wanted to make a mango habanero sauce because that's one of those sauces you have to have if you make hot sauces, right? I mean, everybody loves mango habanero, and I like mango habanero too, but I feel like it's a little one note. So this is mango and pineapple fermented with habanero and some of that manzano pepper from the one before, and some ghost pepper. And then after the fermentation, I add more fresh mango and pineapple and ghost pepper to it. So what you're going to get is up front the mango habanero, and then it's going to get hotter. It's not going to get way hot because I don't put a lot of ghost pepper in it, but it's going to get hotter after you first taste it. So this one I love on wings. This is my go-to wing sauce if I'm making wings at home. And you'll see these sauces are generally pretty thick. Pazuzu will be thinner because a lot of the fruit in that is very watery. But this one's really thick because, again, there's no fillers in any of these sauces. Literally all that's in this is fruit and pepper and then vinegar and sometimes some spices depending on the sauce, you know. But there's no corn syrup. There's no extra added water. There's, you know, so this one is great on wings because it just sticks right to them.
Speaking of The Burning, I just got done interviewing a filmmaker, and I asked her if she could reboot any classic horror movie, which would be, and she said The Burning. I was like, I've never heard anyone say that. I was like, that's a good one.
And, you know, I think we talked about last time too, my feeling on reboots. I don't mind the idea of a reboot. I don't think that someone rebooting The Burning is ever going to take away The Burning that I have up here on my shelf.
Correct.
You know what I mean? No matter how bad that reboot is, that movie up there is amazing, and I love it, and that's why I painted it on that, you know, picture you have in your hand there, right? But who knows? Maybe that person will go and they have a deep love and reverence for The Burning, and they make it something awesome.
Yes.
Like Evil Dead.
So, like Evil Dead. Amazing.
Yeah. Love it. So.
All right. So we're going to try The Burning now.
All right. And again, this one is PG-13, so it's going to be warm pretty quick and will fade a bit slower than the one before did.
Okay.
So.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I tried The Burning.
It's so quiet.
And Ryan, that's hot as shit.
Okay, well, you're gonna have a problem with Pazuzu then.
But it's fading away though.
Huh?
That was instant hot though.
Yeah, you got it that fast?
Yeah,
So,
I got that fast.
Now,
but
what's going to happen, though, is you're going to have a lingering from the ghost pepper. And that's because I don't put a lot of ghost in, but I put in a bit. And ghost hits you differently. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know if you've ever had any hot pepper eating experience. Ghost hits you like, you're like, wow, that's hot. And then like a minute later, you're like, why is it still getting hotter? I haven't.
It's definitely getting hotter. I feel like I got like
that's the ghost
heat coming out my fucking nose right now.
That's the ghost for sure. It will do that to you. Yeah, it does. And it'll build up too. So like if you were eating nachos with that, having a second one, it's going to immediately ramp it again. So,
but it's not intolerable. You know what I mean? It's not bad. It's just like, okay. Hot.
Again, PG-13, parents be warned. Yeah. So, you know, there could be some gore in here, but it's probably not going to be that bad. You know, that's kind of where we're at on this one. 1 to 3 F-bombs at most.
I know, man. So we're doing Rated R next, right?
We are.
I'm glad you didn't send the NC-17.
Oh, I've actually only ever made the NC-17 sauce once. It was called Della Morte. So I don't know if you're a fan of Cemetery Man.
Yes,
but
love
its
it.
original Italian title is Dell'amore della morte, of love of death. So we just took the of death part of it and named our sauce after that. And then of course the art on it is a painting of the Grim Reaper and then the main characters. And that one had in a 1 gallon ferment almost 5 pounds of Carolina Reapers. It was ridiculous.
Ooh.
But it also had a bunch of plums and some other things to actually give it some flavor as you were dying. Mm-hmm. So like your face is melting off and you're like, oh, that tastes good. I'm gonna have no, I shouldn't, and blood and all the gore. And
but if I can survive this one, we'll do another video for the NC with the NC-17
if I can get a hold of the peppers. That one it's not a regular sauce. It's when I can do it. It was actually almost a challenge because, like I said, I had a lot of Facebook groups that I was in where I was kind of testing some sauces and like asking, and everybody would always like make it hotter, make it hotter, make it hotter. And all these guys were in. Actually, if you watch the Netflix show about champions that came out a couple years ago, one of them was about chili eating champions. And some of these people that are in these Facebook groups are actually in that show. So like people who eat super hot stuff, right? And they're like, so make it hotter because that's what we want. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do the best I can. But, that's not my thing. My thing is flavor first and then heat with it. So I made it as hot as I could with still having some flavor. Because it had hibiscus and Mexican plums, those little tiny ones. So it was a bright pink sauce that then melted your face off. So,
all right, let's see what you think. That sounds fucking terrifying. So, by the way, tell us about Pazuzu.
Okay, so Pazuzu, when I started making hot sauces, I made a few different, recipes and I was trying them out. And one of the things that I started doing kind of right away is trying to make a sauce a certain color. So I think about what ingredients are going to end up to be the color sauce that I want it to be. And I wanted a purple sauce. So Pazuzu went through a bunch of different iterations. Probably the only thing that's been every time has been blueberries. But it's had blueberries, it's had beets, it's had watermelon, it's had dragon fruit, it's had a variety of different things. After the 5 or 6 or 7 iterations I went through to get it to where I want it, what it has now is on the fruit side, it's got blueberries, watermelon, and prickly pear. So this bright pink cactus fruit. And then, of course, a bunch of peppers, habaneros, red jalapenos. The base is mostly red jalapenos, and then you amp that up with some habaneros, so you get like hotter. And then it's got some Carolina Reaper, and it's got some ghost pepper in there as well. So hotter. Oh, yeah. And then, so you ferment all that. And then I blend it up and I add into that some more blueberries and then some more Reapers and some black pepper just to get that little black pepper like seasoning. I don't know. It's such a weird thing that seems like it shouldn't make much of a difference.
I know, right?
It does. It just changes it just a little bit. And I've over the years like tried to figure out like, do I just crank pepper in there? I used to float like a tea bag in there. My latest thing has been soaking the pepper in vinegar beforehand and using the vinegar because it's got all the resins from the pepper in there. So that way I don't have to separate them out. But anyway, that's what this one is about. I wanted to make a purple sauce. And then like I told you before, like I told you before, I asked my friends on Facebook, I'm like, what movie? And everyone was The Exorcist. I think 1 or 2 people said The Color Out of Space, which I'm like, I love you guys, but it's The Exorcist. So came up with that artwork and then, went from there. And that one's probably my other one. Like I would say Momo and Pazuzu are probably my 2 like flagship sauces. Like those are the ones that I'm always going to make for sure.
So what is my experience going to be like?
Well, they seem to hit you pretty quick. So I'm assuming this one will hit you pretty quick as well, but I expect it to build for a while before it fades.
Okay.
So, because again, this one has both fermented and fresh Reapers and Ghosts. It also has chocolate Reapers, which have a little bit different of a flavor and a little bit different of a heat. So, yeah.
All right, give it a try. All right. Okay.
And this one, I just like how it looks, man. Like it's just
It is
purple.
fucking cool, man. It's fucking
Right?
cool as shit.
I mean, there's other bluish purple hot sauces out there, but they're usually just blueberries, and that's good. I like them. I've enjoyed a bunch of them. Blueberries and ghost peppers would make a great combo. That's why they're both in there. But I think the watermelon and the prickly pear on top just it makes it something that you just don't have, you know, especially the prickly
nice.
So yeah,
There we go.
Here we go. I don't know. You might need the milk with how you reacted to the last one. We'll see.
Not bad so far. Not bad so far.
Okay, good. That's interesting that the last one hit you up front so much faster. So
There
it is.
Mm. All right.
That was Pazuzu just making sure you knew he was there. The demon speaks.
That was calling bullshit.
You're like, this isn't that hot, and it's like, oh yeah.
Mm.
Your mother does what?
Yeah, but the other two, this one is increasing over time. The other two hit and went, you know.
Mm.
But this is.
Yeah, this one will definitely do that, and it's gonna stick around for a while. So
yeah, my tongue is in a little tickly right now. So
nice. And then this is pretty fun. So just this Black Friday, my friend Scott Phillips. Actually, hold on one second. I don't know if you know him or not. Let me grab his movie. One of his movies. Where is it? Why can't I find things?
And I told you last time, man, I'm jealous of your fucking collection.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So his movie, The Stink of Flesh, came out almost 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago on Tempe. It was one of their first DVDs, Tempe Video. It is a zombie movie with also weird sex. Like, it's just the easiest way to put it. It's got a bunch of like interesting stories all mixed together, and it just got remastered on Blu-ray on Black Friday. And as part of that release, we also released Matul's Hammer, which is Matul being the main character who kills zombies with a hammer and nails. So Matul's Hammer is the tie-in sauce that goes with the Stink of Flesh. So if you guys go to makeflix.com, MAKEFLIX, I believe it is, .com, that is Tempe Video's distribution. And they, I believe, still have both VHS copies, which is really fucking cool, and Blu-ray copies. And some of them have an option to bundle a hot sauce in, or you can add it for $12, which is what you would get it from my store. Right. Yeah. So Matul's Hammer is going to be one of the next 4 sauces that I'm releasing, and it's going to be a tie-in for the Stink of Flesh. So, and if you've never seen the Stink of Flesh, it's a crazy zombie movie. It's a lot of fun. Very low budget, but very imaginative and very well made, I think. So,
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah. That was so I told you, I made movies in Albuquerque, and that was before I got there. Like literally 6 months before I got there, this movie came out, and I got to kind of see it, and I'm like, oh, these are the people that I need to talk to because they know what they're doing, and see if they can help me understand so I can know what I'm doing, because I didn't know what I was doing. So still don't know what I'm doing. So.
Hot as shit, but I fucking like it.
Thank you.
I fucking like my face is like, I don't know if you can tell.
Well, lit up.
My face is getting a fucking red, which is fucking yeah. I mean, I'm a black guy. My fucking face is getting red right now.
Right.
So, so I don't know if I'm about to have a fucking heart attack or what. But
I hope not much.
I'm good. But this is, I mean, the flavor is fucking amazing.
And that's the thing that I'm trying to do is like, I want to make some sauces that are like, wow, that's hot as shit, as you said, but also the flavor is amazing. Like that's what I'm trying to work on. And that's why the iterations, like I could just throw a ton of Reapers into a sauce and it's going to burn your face off, but is it going to taste good? You know,
but that's most hot sauce. I mean, most hot sauce has that hit to it, but it doesn't have that unique taste to it.
Yeah. And that's what I try and do with my sauces. And I try to make them all different. So, the ones you've tried should be very different. And then the other two in my main lineup, I have one called Shutteracha, which is my version of a Thai sriracha sauce, except I use a bunch of American peppers. So I use New Mexican peppers. I use Mexican peppers. I use red jalapenos rather than the Thai chilies that you would normally put in it. So it's very sriracha-like, but it's not sriracha. I call it Shutteracha because Shutter is my favorite Thai horror film. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but pictures and ghosts showing up and then people dying. They remade it in the U.S. with one of the guys from Dawson's Creek. I think Percy was the main character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that one's back here somewhere, but it's not worth taking out. It's not that good. But the original Thai movie is great. So named it after that one. And then the other one in my lineup is called Buffet for Sheetar, which is a reference to the movie Blood Diner, which I hope you've seen.
Yes, I've seen Blood Diner. Yes.
So I love Blood Diner. The first time I got this sauce to really what I wanted, it looked like blood red. And I was like, that's like a bottle of blood. And I just watched Blood Diner. And in Blood Diner, Sheetar, the demon, is waiting for a buffet of blood, as is said many times in the movie. So I'm like, Buffet for Sheetar, there it is. And you should probably say it buffet, because if you've seen the movie, that's the way it's said. So Buffet for Sheetar is a plum and blackberry sauce. So again, very different from anything else that you've had so far. And then the other sauces that I'm working on, some of them are kind of riffs on sauces I've already made. So like a hotter version of Momo, for example, with some lemon added in. That's one that I'm going to be releasing soon. And then the Matul's Hammer is one that has it's almost all New Mexican peppers because the movie was made in Albuquerque, so I'm trying to tie it in like that. And I worked with Scott, the director. We kind of emailed back and forth about like flavors he likes, because he's a huge hot sauce fan. Actually, I just posted on our Facebook, Scott Phillips, the writer of Drive with Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison, he just endorsed our hot sauce because he loves us. So yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He's the director of Stink Flesh, and yeah, he's been a guy that's been supporting me since like 2010 when I started coming up with my first recipes. And we talked about making a hot sauce for Matul's Hammer, and I made it in 2011. And then we've been waiting for an opportunity to actually make it like an official thing. And now it's an official hot sauce. Like it is a tie-in that was released for this movie's 20th anniversary. And I can't be happier about that. It's super cool.
Man, it's super cool. Listen, I'm holding it together. This shit's
I'll let you talk.
My fucking throat right now.
This is why Hot Ones works better, because I should be asking you questions right now.
My face is like turning fucking red. Like I'm looking at the fucking screen. My face is literally turning fucking red.
Mine is too, because I'm laughing. So.
I'm trying to hold it together though. I'm trying to hold it together for the interview.
You're doing well.
I'm a professional, Ryan.
Yeah. It's because I'm not asking you the hard questions. So.
By the way, I don't know. I interviewed a super fan, Everett, a couple weeks ago, and he loved our interview that we did.
Oh, really?
And then I think I asked you if you had Drive-In Massacre, and you didn't have the one, but he was like,
right.
I had that one. I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So somebody else has that one.
And was it the cover with like the hatchet in front of the drive-in? That's what I was looking for. I'm like, I gotta have that. I swear I did, but yeah, yes, I know the movie. I just I don't seem to have it. So that's awesome. That's awesome that you had it.
Classic. All right, so I'm gonna hit you with some horror questions. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
All right, so in horror news, we heard about Scream 7. They got rid of one of the main sisters because she said something about Israel war.
Right.
Jenna Ortega bounced out too.
Right.
How do you feel about them doing like a complete scrapping whatever idea they had to finish off that trilogy and doing something completely new and Nev Campbell come in for a cash grab and doing something?
To be honest, I might not be the best person to ask this question to, because I don't think I've seen anyone since past Scream 4.
Okay.
So I'm way behind. And which is really funny because I love Wes Craven and I love Scream. The first one is so good. The second one is actually really good too. I liked the third one. I liked the fourth one, and I just never followed up. I have 1 through 5 at least up on the shelf up there, but I just haven't watched them all. So
listen, you have to watch Part 6. Part 6 is so fucking good, man.
Good. I want to see it. And I heard the stuff, about the firing and the quitting, and that sucks. People shouldn't be fired for their opinions, but then again, you have to also realize when you're a public person and you say opinions that might get somebody mad, sometimes people are going to retaliate for your opinion, and that sucks. That's a truth of life, but it is. You know what I mean? I haven't even read the quote or anything. I just know it was something about.
I don't know what you said, but the war.
So,
but don't you think that? I mean, listen, this is me. Like we do have the freedom of speech, like, but you can't fucking say anything. I mean,
One thing real quick before we go too much into freedom of speech, one thing that so many people seem to misunderstand is freedom of speech means you don't get arrested for what you say. It doesn't mean you don't get canceled or fired.
You can get canceled or fired. Yes.
Right. Freedom of speech doesn't cover that shit. Like, if I am an employer and you come out here and start talking about, like, hey, I'm not racist, but anything else that comes out of the end of that sentence, I don't have to take that as your employer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have the freedom to say it. I have the freedom to fire your ass for saying it.
There's certain things I can't say on YouTube because YouTube would kick me off, and people will unsubscribe.
It's a private platform. They own it. They can put what they want on there.
Gone.
You can go to some other crazier platform if you want, and they'll let you say crazier things. You know what I mean? It's it's the truth of the thing. But I just wanted to say that because I love freedom of speech and freedom of speech questions and debate, but I think so many people don't understand freedom of speech.
Exactly.
Because they immediately think, oh, freedom of speech means there's no repercussions for what I say, which is not at all true. Freedom of speech means I don't throw you in fucking jail for what you said. That's the extent of it, right? You know?
Yes. But if you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you just shut the fuck up? Like, I mean,
you know, I don't know. It's such a weird question because sometimes there's some things that are just so important to you that you morally, consciously have to say something about it. And if you have a platform to say it, you might have to say it. But I think you pick your words real carefully when you say those things. And then you have to realize that there could be repercussions for saying it, you know? So is it important enough to you to be worth the repercussions that you aren't going to get? I think a lot of people don't think about that before they say the things they say. And then they're surprised by the repercussions that they get, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, everyone's free to say whatever you want, but if you say something fucking horrible, I can think you're a horrible person. You know, like, that's all there is to it. You know, and it's just like so many people these days just don't get that. So, shaking my desk and it's an earthquake again. Sorry.
Okay. Next question. I already know your answer is going to be, are you excited for Terrifier 3? Have you seen the poster?
Yeah, we talked about that too. Yeah, I made it halfway through the first one and I've never finished it, and I really did not enjoy it. People keep trying to convince me to watch the second one, and the
second one is actually decent.
I hear that, but like I don't know. Like I rarely turn off a movie, and that one I was just like, and it wasn't during a gore scene either. It wasn't the gore. It was the misogyny and the just overall I hate women feeling of that movie that made me like, I was like, no, I just don't want to see this anymore. Like, I don't care where the plot goes. Like, there isn't really a plot. The plot is, how can I get this character from here to here? And we talked about this last time, but how do I get him from here to here and I kill? That's not the thing for me. I don't mind gore. I enjoy gory movies. Some of my favorite movies are really, really gory. You know, I would put The Thing as one of the gorier movies that's out there, even though people don't seem to think of that way because it's creature effects. It is disgusting. Martyrs. I love Martyrs. Horrible. You know, a woman spends a good chunk of that movie with no skin on.
Yep.
Just no skin on. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't mind the gore. That doesn't bother me. I just mind the, like, give me a good reason for it. And I didn't feel that.
A story or character development or something. Like, it's just obstacles. And like, they don't even give you character development on who the fuck Art the Clown is. Like, it's just a clown.
And I feel like that's almost like the genre of the killer evil clown almost has that in most of the movies, and the ones that aren't like that are the ones that everybody loves that are the standouts, like It.
Mm-hmm.
You know, It doesn't give you necessarily the background, but it gives you hints of the background enough that you are like, holy shit, I wonder what really happened way back in, you know, Dare Bridge or whatever it was. I'm not a big Stephen King guy, but you know, where, you know, what happened way back then. But then you get like Terrifier or like 100 Tears. And I'm just like, it's a clown murdering its way through people. And like, you know, it's
you don't know
like
who the people are. You don't care about them.
I'm sorry, what?
I say you don't know who the people are. You don't care about them.
It's the end of Dead Alive when he's got the lawnmower and going through the zombies, but that's the whole movie. You know, and it's like, you can do it for a gag for the end of Dead Alive when you've got 500 gallons of blood and we're like, look, we're breaking records. But you can't do it for a whole movie, at least in my opinion. Like, I need a story and I didn't find one there. So yeah, it's just not my thing. There's not a lot of clown movies over here, I'll tell you. And the ones that are here are ones that I bought hoping they'd be better, and I've watched them and I'm like, and I put it back on the shelf and I haven't pulled it down again. Like 31 I was like, let's see if this is a better Rob Zombie movie. It wasn't.
No, it's not.
It was like $7.99 on Blu-ray, so it was like $7.99 is like that's not even a movie ticket price, so I'll give it a chance. You know, there's a few movies that are completely the opposite of that. You know, that are amazing clown movies, but just in general, that's not a genre I dig. So
Yeah. Speaking of Rob Zombie, I was about to do I'm about to release a whole bunch of top 5 rankings, and I was trying to do a top 5 in my brain of Rob Zombie movies, and I couldn't fucking do it. I was like,
I don't think I can get to 5 either.
I stopped at 2. Like it was like, and one of the 2 I was like, ugh, like it was Devil's Reject, which is
I
good.
love the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, Devil's Rejects is good.
Think it is an incredibly well-made road movie. It's like a 70s throwback grindhouse thriller, not a horror movie, that happened to have some really fucking horrific scenes in it.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's disturbing too. It's a good old-fashioned disturbing movie.
Running out with a face mask, you know, and her undies, and very disturbing.
Good old disturbing. And then I was like,
it's the opposite, the disturbing that was in House of a Thousand Corpses, which is more like Terrifier, where it was just like splat, splat, without. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it more than Terrifier. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would watch that one if they were like, choose one or die. I would House of a Thousand Corpses every day. But I'm not a fan of that movie at all.
I finished a House of a Thousand Corpses. I didn't finish the first Terrifier. I told people I never finished it. I'm the same way you. I was halfway in, and I was like, yeah, I can't watch this anymore. This is like
not enjoying it.
And I clicked on the thing. I was like, holy shit! There's another fucking hour left. Yeah, I'm fucking good. No, I think I've seen everything.
But Devil's Rejects, I will fight for. I don't know why that movie is so good, and the rest of his catalog is just really not.
Yeah.
His Witches movie, I just rewatched that.
Salem.
Last month.
Salem.
Yeah, Witches of Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Lords of Salem. There we go.
Lords of Salem.
That movie is really, really good, and it's like this slow burn. Like it's not Halloween Rob Zombie with, you know, a giant chainsaw like cutting people into pieces, which I know didn't happen, but that's what it felt like watching that movie. It's this like slow burn with little shots of like artistry, and like I had watched it once a long time ago and I remembered liking it, but I didn't remember how much I liked it. And then when I rewatched it for my 31 Days of Horror this October, I liked that one a lot. So but then after that, I'm like, and then there's Werewolf Women of the SS from Grindhouse that's 2 minutes long. That one was really fun. You know, like I don't know what comes next after.
But that's what I'm saying. It's tough. Like Witches of Salem. That was Lord of Salem. I like that one, but that would be my number 2. So I like that one, but it's like
it is very much a slow burn, and if you're not paying attention, it's easy to miss some of the stuff that's actually really scary about that movie. And I think that's what I did the first time, where I was like, you know, like, oh, I'm drinking my beer and, you know, eating my popcorn or whatever. And I missed little bits that the second time around, I was like, wow, that was really scary. Like that actually, it did some stuff. So, and then the rest of his movies. It reminds me of House of the Devil by Ty West. Like, I think those two would make a great double feature. Lords of Salem and House of the Devil.
Yes, I agree.
Because they're both these slow burns that in the end pay off really well, but take a long time to get there.
To get to that point. But like, I was like, ugh, I got to come up with 3 more. I'm like, the Halloween ones, like the first one, the first half was tolerable, but the second half was just like so bad. I don't know. He just has this. I can't say this word because I'm gonna get canceled. But he has this trailer park. Trash.
It's new metal. It's new metal filmmaking, man.
It's like, and it's like, you know, like to enjoy his movies, like you gotta like fucking your cousin or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
now that is where you're gonna get canceled. That part right there.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, you were good before that, the trailer park part, but then once you went to the I don't know, man. His movies, like I said, it feels like new metal. I liked new metal when I was in high school. You know, nowadays I go back and I'm gonna pop on this Korn record, and I'm like, God, no. But there's a couple beats every once in a while where it's like, oh, well, that riff was really good. That section of that song was really good. half of this song was pretty good. And that's how I feel like Rob Zombie is. It's like, it's new metal now when you're listening to it, when you listen to it in high school and you're like, well, that beat's pretty awesome, but what the hell is he talking about? And, you know,
and the characters are fucking awful. And the characters
got riffs that work, but the rest of the movie doesn't, you know, and that's.
The characters are fucking awful. They don't talk like no real human being talks. You know what I mean? It's just fucking.
He tries to write like Tarantino without being able to pull it off like Tarantino does for some reason. They both write characters that don't talk like humans talk. But when Tarantino does it, we're like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, that was amazing. I am a huge Tarantino fan, so don't get me wrong. I'm not.
I am too.
I am not saying this with anything but love. He says words, and I'm like, those words are amazing. I know exactly where he ripped them off from, but I love that he took them from this obscure 70s martial arts film and put them in this big movie. And now I'm like, I love that movie from the 70s. Rob Zombie seems to try to do the same sort of cool shit, but doesn't execute it the same way.
It just does. His movies like turn me off. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like I said, I've had this conversation with people before, and I feel like Rob Zombie has made a couple of amazing movies, a couple of incredibly horrible movies, and then a bunch of meh in between, where I'm just like, I watched it once and I'm good. I don't ever need to watch it again.
So there won't be a Rob Zombie top 5 because I wouldn't feel passionate about it. You know what I mean? I just don't feel right doing it. It would just be like, I'm just putting some shit.
I would have a Rob Zombie 2 1/4, which would be those two and the preview from the middle of Grindhouse. And then it would be like, and then after that, I don't know, man, like videos from White Zombie maybe. But they got to be from White Zombie for me because I didn't like the Rob Zombie solo stuff. It was something about White Zombie that was amazing. So, you know, we can go back and watch some Beavis and Butthead. So maybe you can throw that in your top 5.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But going back to Terrified, so they're doing a Christmas theme part.
I heard. Yeah, I've seen the posts out
and
there.
I'm like, oh my goodness, is this them jumping the shark? Like, is this? I mean, it's going to make a lot of money. People are definitely going to see it.
I mean,
and definitely
good on them. I am so happy that Terrified came out in the theaters and made $1 billion or whatever. You know, like, I know it's not $1 billion, but made a bunch of money, way more money than any indie horror film has made in a long time, and that's amazing, and that's great for all horror. It's just not my horror, you know what I mean? Yeah. What I'm going to be watching, I was just telling my family they need to be prepared because we're going to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, it's an amazing movie, dude. It's amazing.
And then we're going to watch 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to watch all the Silent Night, Deadly Nights, including Part 5, which Mickey Rooney had his last film role in. So,
I did not even know.
I know I've seen 2. I believe I've seen 3. I didn't even realize there was a 4 and 5 until they mentioned, like, they were talking about it in the release of this Blu-ray, and I'm like, hell yeah. So that's what I'm making my family watch this Christmas.
Nice. Yeah. Have you seen the Christmas movie? I want to say it came out last year. It has shit, man. It's a guy from, what's his name? David
Harbour, Silent Night, or not Silent Night, Violent Night.
Violent Night.
I literally watched it last week for the first time with my family.
Fucking amazing, isn't it?
It was great. I greatly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
I'm shocked. I wish it would have gotten a little more. I don't know, more people would have saw it in the theaters or something.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people talking about it when it first came out for like just a tiny little spurt, and then it went away. And I'd been meaning to watch it forever, so we pulled it up. I think it was streaming on Prime for free or one of them. I haven't purchased it yet, but I will before next Christmas. It'll be in the collection so that we can watch it. So,
and it's called Deadly Night?
The juxtaposition of Christmas and violent movies. Like, I think that's a fun thing. And I love that in the 80s we were so scared of it that people literally were boycotting Silent Night, Deadly Night, which if you watch it is not scary at all. It's such a silly movie. Yeah. So,
now, do you have in your collection the Santa Claus with Bill Goldberg? You know what I'm talking about? What is that called? Santa Slays or something like that?
Oh, no. I do know what you're talking about. The WWE film?
Yeah.
Santa's Sleigh? No, I don't. You know what one, though, I think needs to get a lot more love than it does is Christmas Evil. Have you ever seen Christmas Evil?
I have not.
Christmas Evil is one of the few Christmas horror movies that doesn't go campy. And it's really, like, kind of creepy. It's this dude watching his neighbors from his window and writing down who's naughty and who's nice and deciding to punish them with a stiletto. And it's like 1980.
Okay, I'm writing this down now. Okay.
Oh, it's great.
Christmas Evil.
Actually, and what's really fun is there's also a great movie that actually has nothing to do with that movie at all called New Year's Evil. Yeah, here we go. Which again makes a great double feature and is another holiday horror movie that doesn't go campy. So Christmas Evil, New Year's Evil have nothing to do with each other. Both amazing movies. This one actually ends up with a whole punk rock festival. There's a bunch of punk bands in it, and you've got a dude with the most amazing mask on. Come through, but it was one of the first things I painted actually when I started painting was that guy because I love that mask so much. But yeah, Christmas Evil is the one that everyone I think overlooks for those. Because Silent Night, Deadly Night, that one's fun. Black Christmas obviously is the classic. I mean, you gotta love that movie. Even if you don't like Christmas horror, that's the one that I would argue that's the first true North American slasher film. You have to say North American because it's Canadian. People call you on that if you don't say that.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of good recent ones like Krampus. Was great.
It's amazing.
I don't know. There's just something fun about juxtaposition Santa and someone getting stabbed. I don't know why.
I watched one and I feel bad now, but a indie filmmaker I interviewed, I'll say a month or two ago, he has one on Tubi, and it's about what the name is the fucking movie. I feel bad because I would love to drop his movie, but it's about an elf who tells Santa Claus, "Fuck you, I'm tired of taking your shit," and he goes out and he kills people on the naughty list.
Okay, nice. Yeah, stuff like that.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a fun, easy concept that you can do fun stuff with. I mean, that was Violent Night to have it be the real Santa Claus in here murdering people with a hammer because that's what he used to do. Like that's pretty badass. That's a fun idea. I do love that juxtaposition. I've always been a big fan of the whole comedy horror thing. Like my sauce is sweet and spicy, comedy horror. I think those are two things that are kind of, opposite ends of the spectrum that go really well when you put them together.
It really does.
Yeah.
All right. So where can everyone? So do you got any? So listen, do you got any specials going on right now?
Yeah. So at all times, I do sales where if you get 3 bottles, you get 10% off your price. 4 bottles or more, 15% off your price. So when you go to checkout at www.horrifyinghotsauce.com, and you go to my store, you'll see there's a big banner to remind you of that. So everybody can always use that. And then I do different sales and stuff. Like I had a 20% off over Black Friday. So I don't know if I'll do anything between now and Christmas, but if anybody's looking to get stuff by Christmas, the post office says mail it by December 15th. So we got, a little bit of time here before that. And yeah, it's www.horrifyinghotsauce.com. Or if that's too long, you can just say horrifyingco.com.
You're right there in the description box, guys.
Awesome. There's a bunch of information on there about the website, or not the website, about the sauces, about me, about the art, about what's in the sauces, how I make them. Because literally right now it is a one-man business. I mean, I start from the very beginning of making sauces to, making the art to bottling it by hand to being the person who takes it to the post office. So it's all me. Yeah, so you guys check it out, and then we can always do a coupon for your viewers as well, so we can put that in the code down below as well and give them some extra, 5% off between now and Christmas time on top of the regular codes. So,
so just put down the Horror Realm 5 to get additional 5% off.
Yeah, do Horror Realm 5 to get an additional 5% off, getting the 3 bottles, and Horror Realm 10 for additional. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Horror Realm 3 for the getting 3 bottles. Horror Realm 4 if you're going to get 4 bottles or more, and it'll be 15 or 20% off instead of the regular 10 or 15% off.
All right, so
Horror Realm 3, Horror Realm 4.
4.
So if you get 3 bottles or if you get 4 or more, that's the codes to use.
And
then it's $12 shipping anywhere in the U.S. For up to 4 bottles and $16 for more than 4 bottles. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get better shipping rates, but that's what I've got for now. So I'm working on it. I'm hoping to, eventually make it cheaper too. But it's all, it's all me. So
It's all time. And you also get this amazing sticker too.
yeah, I do throw a sticker in there with all the purchases, and we do have stickers on the site of all the different paintings from the different bottles. So if you want just like the Pazuzu sticker or whatever, I do sell sticker packs on there. And then for the holidays, I added a $10 and $25 digital code. So if you don't like spicy, but you know somebody who loves spicy and likes horror stuff, you can send them $10 or $25 worth of credit to go and buy whatever they want from the store. So.
All right, guys, listen, it's the holiday season. I'm pretty sure you got some horror fans and some hot sauce fans out there. Check it out. Stuff is good. I mean,
thank you, man. I appreciate it. I really worked hard on, like I said, going through those recipes and trying to get them exactly what I wanted. And some of them took, 6 and 8 tries, and at a minimum 2 weeks of fermenting each one. That's a year. You know what I mean? Because not like you do it one right after the other. Like they take a while to get. So I'm glad you enjoyed them, and I appreciate the feedback. And
so proud, man. Thank you for, of course, hitting me up and give them a try, man. Listen, guys, cool. Definitely check it out. Go down into the description box, hit that website, hit those promo codes to get you a little bit of discount, save you some money.
Yep.
Ryan, it's always been a pleasure, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And come back on anytime, man.
Listen, when we got some updates, new sauce or movie or whatever stuff, or hopefully maybe I'll come and tell you about my brewery that I'm opening. Who knows?
Oh my goodness, man! Listen, and you're in Colorado, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm in the Denver area.
So yeah, if you get that brewery rolling next year, I'm gonna be out there and away for convention. So
cool. Well, when you come out for conventions, let me know and we'll get you some sauce.
I appreciate.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be at a convention selling it by then.
Sweet.
That would be the preferred. So, all right. Thanks, Travis. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, definitely check out Horrifying hot sauce. They're the preferred hot sauce of the horror realm.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
I'll take all the endorsements I can get.
I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, okay?